Today, we're going to be diving into the most important players heading into the 2025 season, X factors that need to be great for this Arizona Cardinals season to be successful. Let's go ahead and get started. Let's dive right into the most important players heading into 2025 for the Arizona Cardinals. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back into another video. Definitely do me a huge favor, smack up that like button and subscribe for more Arizona Cardinals content. On this channel, we're covering the Arizona Cardinals news, breaking news, conversational pieces, everything surrounding your favorite team. Now, we will be doing a 17K subscriber jersey giveaway if we hit 17,000 subscribers before the end of July. The last time I looked, I think we're under 200 subscribers away. Ladies and gentlemen, it's absolutely for free. Smack that like button and you can be that lucky winner for a potential brand new Marvin Harrison Jr. jersey, Trey McBride jersey, Kyler Murray jersey, whatever your heart desires. Make sure you subscribe it up and put your post notification bell on as well to make sure that you are aware when we drop the next video or when we go live. All right, everybody, let's go and dive right into it. Let's talk about who is going to be the most important players for the Arizona Cardinals heading into 2025, the X factors, right? And who we need to have a great season in order for the Arizona Cardinals to be successful. Now, let's first start off with this. The Arizona Cardinals right now heading to 2025, there is a lot of high expectations for this Arizona Cardinal team because of obviously the rebuilding in the first 2 years of Jonathan Gannon and Monty Ossenfort. We are now heading into uncharted territory when it comes down to this regime, right? The next step is playoffs, right? Or at least double digits. I'm hoping playoffs myself, but there is some Cardinal fans out there that are a little skeptical that this Cardinal team can accomplish more than 9, 10 wins, right? Now, myself, I do see us as a double digit, win type of team if we could take care of business in the first half of the season. And of course, you got to win some really crucial games in November and December because that's really where the schedule gets tough for the 2025 Arizona Cardinals. But the sky's the limit for this team as long as we do not crash and burn at the end of 2025. Fingers crossed that doesn't happen, but a lot of unknown, right? A lot of unknown when it comes down to the 2025 Arizona Cardinals. And I'm just really excited to see how this season's going to blossom into because this team's got the potential to be a really, really good defense with all the new additions that we added on the defensive side of the ball and the offensive side of the ball. I mean, we've already had some weapons. We got Marvin Harrison Jr. already bulked up this offseason and heading into his year 2, Trey McBride, Michael Wilson going into his year 3, and then you got some kind of unknown pieces when it comes down to outside the Bird Gang, right, with Greg Dortch, Xavier Weaver, right, a couple other people, on the bottom of the depth chart as well for the Cardinals, but we'll have to kind of wait and see how it all shakes out. Seems like JG and Monty Ossenfort and Drew Petzing seem to be confident and comfortable with the wide receiving core that we currently have right now, so let's see what 2025 can hold. So let's dive right into my list here on who I feel is going to be the most important players. Now, I want to be very clear. Every single player on this roster is going to be very, very important, right? All 53 and all 11 starters on the offensive side of the ball and all 11 starters on the defensive side of the ball. The Arizona Cardinal, football or just football in general, every person needs to do their job. So I don't want to come out here and minimize anybody's job. Everybody's important, right? But I'm really talking about if there is some sort of bad injury or maybe even a bad season, how badly it could derail a season just in general, right? Because like I said before, like if a guard or a tackle misses, their specific assignment and allows a gap and defender to go through, that can have a busted play. What I'm talking about is a player that is very, very crucial and important to this season to have a successful season in 2025. So let's dive right into my list here on most important players in 2025 for the Arizona Cardinals. Now, of course, on top of my list is going to be none other than quarterback Kyler Murray. Now, there might be some people running to the comments saying, oh man, here it goes again. You're putting all these expectations. Well, here's the thing, right? It doesn't matter if it's Kyler Murray, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, any of the top tier quarterbacks out there. When it comes down to the most important players, the quarterback is usually the first one you're looking, right? And there's a reason why if you have a Joe Burrow, if you have one of these top tier quarterbacks on your team, you're always in somehow quarter or playoff contention, right? Like now CJ Stroud has entered that level of expectations for their fan base. Now, granted, that division doesn't have the best teams in there, but expectations are expectations, right? And now you got, Jaden Daniels going into his year 2. They're talking potential playoffs, right? But that NFC East is now looking a lot better since 2 years ago, or even maybe last year's expectations heading into 2025. That division looks pretty darn good. But right now, I got Kyler Murray as my number 1. I've said this multiple times that Kyler Murray has to play to the level that he plays in the first part of the season all the way throughout the 17 course, season of 2025. We also heard Jonathan Gannon say that he's looking for consistency at the quarterback positions, or even any position in general, right? It's not all fully on Kyler Murray, but when it comes down to team success, the outside noise, the outside perspective always kind of goes back to the quarterback. Now, we've seen situations where, yeah, it's not fully the quarterback's fault because the defense just cannot stop anything, right? We've seen that multiple times in multiple games last year, but Monty Ossenfort has done a very, very good job to patch up a lot of holes that we had in 2024 heading into 2025. Our defense on paper should be night and day better, right? As long as they can stay healthy, it should be night and day better, and hopefully cause a lot more pressure than we had in 2024. So I got Kyler Murray as my number 1 guy. We ride and die with the play of what he can do on the offensive side of the ball. Now, he did say he wanted to use his legs more. That is awesome. I love that. I love the fact that he wants to be more of a playmaker, but there is a level of, I guess, worriness, right, that comes in with if Kyler Murray starts using his legs a lot more, there is a lot more risk for injury because of, if he takes a big hit from a middle linebacker or a defensive lineman that catches up to him, right? Or if he gets rolled up on his legs, things can go real, real bad. So I like the fact that he wants to be more of a playmaker, but at the end of the day, we got to be very cautious of the way we use him and be very situational on when he runs out of the pocket or takes it to the house for 40 yards. So Kyler Murray being my number 1 important guy on this roster. He needs to have a successful season in order for the Arizona Cardinals to be successful in 2025. Going into number 2, I got running back James Conner. Now, I am a believer in Trey Benson myself. I think Trey Benson's going to be a really good running back. I, I feel like James Conner is very undervalued of how people really look at him from the outside. He really is the key focal point of this Arizona Cardinals offense. Now, I know you can say Kyler Murray is that guy as well, and he can definitely, be that guy in 2025 and have a bigger role. But with the last few years that we've seen with Drew Petzing, it's been the James Conner show. Like, if James Conner has a successful game, usually everything kind of unfolds right behind, right, in terms of the offense. But James Conner is absolutely important. Now, the main reason why I put him on my list is because if he does go down, right, and I hate talking about ifs, but he has had a history of injuries, right? He has, right, and that's back in his Pittsburgh days, and then a few different times with the Arizona Cardinals as well. He is a great running back. He has the ability to break tackles, galore, right? This guy is a really hard running type of running back, and most people would like him on their roster. The problem is that kind of also is his, I'm not gonna say downfall, but with the way how hard he runs, there's risk of injuries, right? Or just the running back position in general. There's a lot of risk with injury because I got James Conner as my number 2. Absolutely important for this Arizona Cardinal offense to really, really get going. The end of the day, he is the heart and soul of this Arizona Cardinal run game. He really is. I like Trey Benson. Do I want to see Trey Benson get a little bit more of an opportunity to maybe have more of a bigger split share? Yes, I would. Absolutely. Kind of alleviate James Conner from toting the rock 85% of the time. Maybe we can go ahead and scale that back to maybe 65% for James Conner and open up a little bit more for Trey Benson, maybe 35% of the time. But both of them do got to stay healthy at the end of the day. But James Conner is my number 2 guy. Then is probably one of the most important guys on this team to stay healthy because we need him. We absolutely do. Number 3 is going to be none other than Josh Sweat. Now, yes, I could have also added Dalvin Tomlinson on here. I could have also added maybe even Calais Campbell. But the main reason why I put Josh Sweat on here is because Josh Sweat was brought in here under the understanding that he was going to fix our pass rushing needs, right? Our pass rushing woes that we had in 2024. Our biggest signing in 2025's off season, now going to the 2025 regular season, is Josh Sweat. Josh Sweat, coming out of the Philadelphia Eagles, has been a very, very good, consistent pass rusher for the Philadelphia Eagles. But this is supposed to be our X factor on the defensive side of the ball. Our biggest problem last year was obviously lack of talent in specific holes on the team in general, but their defensive line was just not good at all in 2024. You got to give credit to Jonathan Gannon and Nick Rallis for having their guys play very, very hard, but sometimes talent overweighs or outlasts heart sometimes, right? So bringing in Josh Sweat, bringing that guy that's going to be the deciding factor is really going to be a big, big focal point for him to be that guy in terms of why we brought him in. We're looking for double digits, if not double digits, 8, 9 sacks, which would be more than, I guess, double, I guess, a little under more than double of what we've had before. Our biggest, what was the most sacks we had last year? I believe it was Zaven Collins at 5.5 sacks. That ain't going to cut it. That ain't going to cut it. So we're hoping that Josh Sweat can give us 9, 10, 11 sacks in the season and hopefully open it up a little bit more for Calais Campbell to eat, for Dalvin Tomlinson to eat, for a lot of these younger guys, right? Darius Robinson going into his year 2, Walter Nolan going into his rookie year, right? Dante Stills, I would still want to see him go. B. Ojolari is the guy that kind of feels like is very, very forgotten, right? But B. Ojolari, I'm expecting a big year if he can stay healthy for him. So Josh Sweat, a very, very big important piece, especially on the defensive side of the ball for the Arizona Cardinals. We need him to be that guy that we paid him to be and give us double-digit sack performances, because that's what we need on the defensive side of the ball. Let's move on over to my next guy, number 4, linebacker Akeem Davis Gaither. Now, some people might run to the comments and say who, but this is a very, very important role, and I can't emphasize how important this is for the Arizona Cardinals defense in general. What it seems like is that linebacker Akeem Davis Gaither will be playing the green dot on the defensive side of the ball in the middle linebacking, the Mike linebacking role. He's going to be the field general back there, right? What Kazir White was for the Cardinals. That is what Akeem Davis Gaither is going to be for the Cardinals. Now, the reason why I have him among my most important players in 2025 is because we don't really know what he's going to give the Arizona Cardinals, right? There's 2 unknown positions for me heading into 2025. I feel like overall, Monty Austinford has actually done a pretty darn good job, in this last offseason. Wide receiver number 3, although I love Greg Dortch, and then that middle linebacking position, specifically that Mike linebacker and Akeem Davis Gaither, right? The Kazir White role, right? We don't really know. There's a lot of unknown when it comes down to that specific role that I feel like the Arizona Cardinals, at least they addressed it. They brought somebody in, but we don't know exactly how he's going to transpire. Now, hearing from Bengals fans out there, there's a lot of people that gave high praise to Akeem Davis Gaither, which I'm actually very excited to see what he can do. Now, is this the same feeling I had when we first brought in Kazir? Maybe. Is this the same feeling that I had when we first brought in Mack Wilson Sr.? To be honest with you, I was actually a lot more excited about Mack Wilson Sr. than I was about Kazir White. But Kazir White was good for the Cardinals. Now, yes, he got burned a few different times and wasn't really great at coverage, but what he did as a veteran, what he did in bringing the physicality in that second level of our defense was very, very good. Now, can Akeem Davis Gaither bring that to us? I mean, let's go ahead and wait and see how this all shakes out. But if he can turn out to be the guy that the Cardinals brought him in to be, this defense can be very, very good because we got some really, really young, promising guys at cornerback. We got a really good safety duo back there, and our defensive line has gone through an absolute facelift. I like Mack Wilson Sr. on the opposite side of Akeem, but as of right now, there's just a lot of unknowns. So these are my top most important players that need to have a productive year in 2025 in order for the Arizona Cardinals to flourish. Now, yes, some notable guys that we can go and throw in there as well. B.J. Ojolari, Darius Robinson for obviously draft purposes, as well as Marvin Harrison Jr. is looking to have a breakout year. And these are my 4 guys that I really want to go ahead and say, prove it. Come out here and absolutely prove it. And if you guys are successful, then most likely than not, this Arizona Cardinal team can be very, very good in 2025. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let me know who your guys' top 4 players that, are the most important for the 2025 Arizona Cardinals. Let me know in the comments below. Appreciate y'all for tuning in as always. Have a great rest of your day and go Cardinals.